Good morning.
Morning.
There we are.
Hi. We've been grading our campsites on an ABCD scale. How
Yeah.
would you grade this one?
An A.
Yeah, this was pretty nice.
Access to water. The spot was absolutely perfect. There was really no issues there. I thought it'd be tough, but
Yeah, it's fine.
I've got some pictures of how I set the tent up with rocks and stakes and whatever. Fishing, there's a inlet, there's the lake.
Yeah, I also rank it based on how crowded it is,
Oh,
and this one wasn't that
There was
crowded.
one other person camping to
Yeah, not that close. So
to the east of us.
yeah, so this was an A.
Yeah.
Nice. So we're gonna go up and over Selden Pass, which is just over a mile
that way.
away behind us, and then we're gonna go as far as we can. There's kind of a kind of area where there's not a lot of camping right around our 10-mile goal, so we'll either stop just shy of 10 or go beyond 10 to find a good,
Depending on how good we feel.
depending on how we feel. Yeah, so it's kind of a wait and see kind of day.
Yeah, but it's beautiful. It's what the temperature's fantastic. Of course, we're at 10,000.
What day is it? 16?
Yeah.
14? Yeah, 16.
16?
Today's day 16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Let's go.
that's it. We're out. Later. Left camp 10 minutes ago or so, on our way up to Selden Pass. It's a nice morning. Not a cloud in the sky. And we have probably just under a mile to go to get to the pass. And then we'll show you the view from there. Here's Heart Lake.
Okay, we're at Heart Lake in the High Sierra. Time for a anatomy lesson. Here we go. We're going to have freshly oxygenated blood returning from the lungs to the heart through the pulmonary vein into the left atria, where it's going to get a little push down into the left ventricle. From the left ventricle, we're going to have a big push up and out the aorta into the rest of the circulatory system, body tissues. Once the blood is returning to the heart, it's going to come in through the superior and inferior vena cava on the right atrium of the heart, down into the right ventricle, and then back out through the pulmonary artery. Okay, that's looking back to Heart Lake and where we've climbed up. And now we're walking up through this little tree-lined canyon up to the pass, which is just right up there. But unique to this pass is we don't actually ever go above tree line. There are trees all the way up to the pass. So far, every other pass we've been on, we've risen above the tree line and then had to drop back down. But here, there's trees. There's a white bark pine all the way up to the pass.
Nice view.
Yay! All right, we've made it to Selden Pass. This is named after Selden Stewart Hooper. So it's a first name. And Selden Pass, Selden Stewart Hooper was apparently a member of the U.S. Geological Survey in the late 1800s. And we're leaving the main San Joaquin watershed, and now we're heading that way into what I think is the Mono Creek and Bear Creek watershed. But I think eventually those creeks also drain into San Joaquin. But I don't have my full California hydrology map with me.
Oh.
I know. But this is like Bear Creek, Mono Creek, and that's the main San Joaquin. So yeah. And it just took us a little over an hour to get up here.
It was a little over a mile.
1.4 miles from our campsite. And we're at 10,900 feet, I think, something like that. So there's still trees up here at this pass. So there they are.
That's where we came from.
Yep. Lake Marie.
Lake Marie. A lot of water.
Yeah, I would say if Heart Lake looked like a heart, Lake Marie looks like a pancreas. Kind of a hodgepodge mishmash of inlets and glands, glandular tubes. Yep.
All right, you got to get down. Later. Hello.
Okay, right about there is a little Belding's ground squirrel gathering up some grains from that grass. They're adorable. They live in social colonies and stand sentry stand on their hind legs and perch to look for predators, look around. They're so cute, and I have a feeling we're going to start seeing more and more of them as we head north. So since dropping from Marie Lake, a significant portion of the trail is just walking over these granite slabs, which is very easy to walk across, with these random erratics that have been dropped here by glaciers. But this is not unpleasant walking until you get to the step-offs, the granite, where you start having a little more rocky and steps to go down. But where's Curtis? There you go. Hey! There. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay.
That ain't a rock. That's a rock. Well, we've been working our way down from Selden Pass and Marie Lake. And we're just getting to a low valley. And a trail junction.
This is Rosemary Meadow. Pretty place. And what I don't know is what this means. It says meadow on rotation schedule. I don't know what that means. So if anyone wants to let me know what that means, let me know. Okay, we've descended down into a, looks like primarily lodgepole forest around here. And we're heading down to Bear Creek. Depending on the water level and time of season, sometimes Bear Creek is a pretty high ford, but I think by this time we might even be able just to cross by rock hopping. So we'll see when we get there. We made it to Bear Creek, and it looks like we'll be able to cross on that little line of rocks right there without having to take our shoes off.
It's bright and sunny. It's a beautiful day. Just crossed East Fork of Bear Creek. Not quite to the lowest point of the day, but we'll get there eventually. Look, there's Gretel back there.
One could choose to take the obvious rocks, or if you're Curtis, you will always choose a wobbly log. We're taking a little break here along Bear Creek. Curtis is fishing. It looks like he's already caught a fish. And I'm sitting here having washed my feet and soaking in a nice cold towel. Probably gonna rest and hang out here for about 30 minutes before we move on up the trail.
All right, this Bear Creek is something else. This water is so beautiful. Lots of lovely places to stop and fish. Oh, like that. I don't know how much further we'll be alongside this, but it's for a while. It's so cool to be here. We were both just admiring the granite across the water here, how rectangular and blocky it is throughout. It's pretty neat.
Another fishing break along Bear Creek. We have reached the junction with the Bear Creek trailhead. This is the lowest point for us on the Bear Creek, and now we start a 2-mile up to Bear Ridge, and we might see if we can camp about a mile and a third up. Although there's quite a few flies here, so we'll see how it goes. There's not a lot of water on the way up either. So we'll check out a campsite and see if it works for us. And now it looks to be like we're gonna hike through a little bit of an aspen grove here. Pretty nice.
We made it up from the bottom of Bear Creek, and we're probably about a half mile, I would hope, to our potential campsite. And the pickings are slim. The water, you're thankful there's just a trickle. That is a piece of Cheez-It. that I dropped near an ant. And now it's working its tail off to bring it back.
Bueno.
Okay.
Bueno.
Hi. This is day 16, and we don't 100% love the campsite we're at, but it'll do. It's a bit of a dry area. We hiked 9.5 miles today, and we felt like we could have gone further, but there's no water for another. There's hardly any water
The water
here.
we have is the trickle that you would get out of a water filter filtering dirty water.
Yeah, so it's a trickle, but it's fine. We couldn't go further because there's not another like camping spot with water for another like 3 or 4 miles, and that was beyond what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
But we are halfway up the Bear
Creek?
Ridge.
Bear Ridge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We followed Bear Creek down today from Selden Pass. That was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was actually nicer than I was expecting. And that Lake Marie was really pretty.
Oh, yeah.
So it was a good hiking day,
Yeah.
I would say for sure. And Curtis, what do you think is your favorite piece of gear that you've been using on this trip?
I would say partially today was that little fly net thing.
Fly net?
Flies to keep the flies out of my face.
Oh, fly net for your face, covering your face.
Covering my face.
When you said
yeah.
fly, I was thinking of fishing flies. So,
Oh,
okay,
yeah,
you
no,
mean
no,
like
no.
literally the
Yeah,
ends
the
of
thing
the
that
flies.
covered my head.
Yes, okay. Yeah. Yes.
The flies thought I was a horse.
For me, my favorite piece of equipment is my sleeping bag. I have not been cold.
Yeah.
I have been cozy and nice every night, and I haven't shivered, and so I definitely am loving my
Yesterday
sleeping
was
bag.
it yesterday and today I used that head cover.
Yeah.
So for those moments that was my favorite piece of gear. But in terms of like all around like favorite gear I've been using, I mean I'm very happy with my sleeping bag. I've been warm, but not cold.
Right.
And so definitely, and then our water filter devices,
Yeah, the
the platypus
platypus.
water filters, amazing.
Yeah, I've been happy with those
Yeah.
too. Yeah, for sure. We haven't had Giardia or E. coli yet, so knock
Haven't.
on wood that we don't, because we have been good water filters.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, okay, so let's show you around our camp, and then we're gonna go to bed early tonight with the hopes that we can get up and get out of here in the morning.
So there's camp. There's a few spots. It's nice. Behind the camp, about 75 feet, was water, and now it's barely a trickle.
Yeah, we have some nice junipers and lodgepole pines.
They're beautiful views. There's no doubt. But right out there, that peak, right out in the middle of this frame, is called Seven Gables. And it's hard to tell, but that snow patch that's at the top of that peak is quite large for seeing it this far away. But that's the view of the valley that we hiked through, and that about sums it up.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Good night.
take care. See you later.